right now. The lovely Allison Moran joins us from Chicago with an Olympic version
morning.
of the token.
Good morning. Good morning, both of you guys. We have disembodied voice. Hello, my friends. How are you? Is that droid dog?
Oh, it's me, Victor Locke.
It's Victor this morning.
Victor, how are you doing, my friend?
I am doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing fabulous. How can you not be doing fabulously? It's a gorgeous day. It's the middle of summer. We got the Olympics going on, and hey, USA, let's just say, kicking ass. Can I say that on the program?
Yes.
All yours.
Speak. Is there anything?
Which they are. July, which they are.
Speaking of which, is there anything, Allison? Is there anything about the Olympics that you miss from like the Olympics of old? The Olympics of old, like is like a certain sport or a certain event that like you miss of old that you wish would come back?
Softball. I miss softball. When I was writing the blog Token Female, it will be back in some form sooner rather than later. But one of the most read and most liked stories I ever had was the fact that Team USA was going to go ahead and put a softball team in contention in 2020. This would have been about 2016, I want to say, that I wrote that story. One of the most read and liked stories I ever had. The Europeans hated the fact that we won every single time. Lodged a complaint with the USOC, and they said, "Oh well, poor Europe. I'm so sorry. Let's get rid of softball."
And that's just wrong. Okay,
it is.
Listen, to the other countries that kept getting their ass kicked by the USA in softball, do something about it, will you please? And do it on the field.
They're just sore losers over in Europe. That's all I can say.
They are very sore losers, and that's not the only thing. And that's not the only thing that was taken away in which the U.S. was dominating. But I love watching softball. I love it. In any way, shape, form, or fashion. I've covered high school softball, covered college softball, had the Bandits for a little while, and Olympic softball just did it for me. Okay.
Absolutely.
When you put the best of the best of the best on the U.S. Olympic softball team, and they walked into your country where you're hosting the Olympiad, and you're going, "Oh no, we got to be these women in softball." Like Victor talked about earlier, it's one of those situations where you just go, "I quit. I'm not playing. I'm not playing against them."
My role model at an early age was Dr. Dot Richardson, and she was just so dominant and so forward in her thinking. My late husband, Ted Powers, got to meet her. He and his kids went to the trials. The women's team could not have been nicer to my stepchildren and to the finals there. And it was, it was such an amazing experience for all of them. Two of the granddaughters actually went into softball, played scholarship softball, I'm trying to think when it was, and where it was, Aquinas College in Michigan. And I mean, they decided to end their career in college, but it was because of experiences like that they got a ride to college. And it's because of those women that a softball bonanza was born. that the NPF was born, the old National Professional League. And it's just such an awful thing now that the women of this generation do not get that particular strain of women athletes who could be role models. But nonetheless, going out to Rosemont, go to Jenny Finch Way and watch Athletes Unlimited. You've got another 4 weeks to do so, and you will not be disappointed by their level of play. It's very professional. It's beautiful. You need to go out and actually see it.
I was actually talking about some of my favorite female Olympians, of course, FloJo, Jackie Jordan Kersee, the '96 women's gymnastics team, headed by Carrie Strug, who after severely hurting her legs, stuck a landing.
I believe she did that on a broken leg or a broken foot.
It was ankle.
Ankle, yeah.
Broken ankle.
And stuck the landing. Yes. It was unreal. And then she's hobbling, and then Coach Bella Caroli was carrying her.
Had to carry her, yeah.
But here's the other thing about that. It is those days were actually dangerous for women. They needed, because it was like, okay, do it no matter what. Do it until you die. We don't care. It'll make a great moment. And those were also the days in which Larry Nassar, the Michigan State pedophile, can we say, was abusing these poor young girls.
Yeah, and we didn't even know about it until much, much later.
Exactly. And the thing is that nowadays, as much as we love the drama of that scenario, today I'm much more fond of the scenario where women and men, for that matter, get to be who they are. That they don't, that they prioritize their mental and physical health, like Simone Biles, kicking butt over there, getting, she did it the right way. There's a documentary right now on Netflix that you really need to see about Simone Biles' journey in gymnastics from where she was in 4 years ago in Tokyo. And she got to write the scenario that will see them go to the medals tonight, I believe. And even with a calf injury, she gets to be able to compete. And you just have to love what she does for the team. You have to love how that works. And the thing is that I give her great credit for not permanently injuring herself, for standing up to a billion naysayers, just an incredible amount of harassment and abuse, for making that decision 4 years ago to prioritize her health over. Yeah. And, this kind of a thing should be felt throughout, from earliest gymnastics to today.
Yeah.
Otherwise you're going to go through life fractured emotionally and physically.
And the thing was, it was mainly her mental health that she decided to take a step back to deal with. And how can you be upset with that? I remember people saying, well, she should have did that beforehand, or it was a cop out. I was like, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know when it's going to kick in.
When that story came to me, and many asked my opinion on that, I agree with Simone Biles. take a step back for your mental and your physical health, because I'm at the end of that particular journey right now, because I have done a lot of play-by-play in the past 2 seasons because of all of my physical ailments, which a lot of people don't realize messes with you mentally.
Mhm. Yeah.
When you don't do it as often, it messes with you mentally, and it brings you down. Simone Biles went through that, and now she's about to bounce all the way back.
Right.
Yes. Yes, and she's in there on the 4 different pieces of apparatus where I know she's got that mental glow back. She's got an
Mhm.
inner peace. Her husband, Jonathan Owens, who is the newest Chicago Bear, God willing that they do something this year. Please, God.
I'm with you there. I am with you
For
there.
the 50 years I've been a Bears fan, please, God, let
Do
this
something
work.
positive with him.
Yes, and the thing is that that she learned how to build her mental health. You know, she learned the tools, and that if anybody takes anything out of her story or people listening today, it's prioritize your mental and physical health over anything you're doing. Let that be a motivator to you to just feel at one with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
know,
all. Mhm.
Shook brings up a very, very good point. Someone's playing through injuries, etc. Get you to see those memorable moments. Let's go back to 1997, the flu game with the Bulls and
Mhm.
with
Yeah,
the
oh
Jazz,
yeah.
because we didn't know until
Yeah.
game time when Marv Albert broke the story of what was going on with his airness.
Yeah.
And to find out that he had the flu and still dropped 38 points, which had me screaming my brains out because I was watching it with a whole bunch of people. I was living in Minnesota at the time, and a whole
Uh-uh.
bunch of friends of mine and I watched that game, and they kept saying, "Oh, well, MJ's not at his best," and I'm sitting back laughing. I said,
Mhm.
"You haven't seen MJ when he's really sick, because when he gets sick, it's the other team that winds up ill."
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
That when he hit that game-winning three, well, what turned out to be the game-winning three, I just backed up and laughed.
mhm.
And all my friends are looking at me going, "How did you know?" I'm like, "I'm from Chicago. I watched Michael Jordan do this for 13 years."
There you go. Yeah. That was an amazing playthrough of on him, and he was getting fluids on every time out.
Yep.
He had 103-degree fever, I think.
Yep.
He had to get an IV at halftime. He had to get
Yes.
an IV. And remember, this wasn't in Chicago, folks. This was in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This
This was
was in Salt Lake City, where they didn't have the most. They did well. It's not nothing against
The
the
city
Jazz at
itself.
home. It's nothing against the Delta Center.
Mhm.
They just weren't prepared.
Yeah.
Okay, and that happens. That happens. I've been on the road 30 years doing this. You go to
Mhm.
stadium and something comes up that they didn't prepare for, and it's not that they didn't prepare for it; they didn't see it coming.
Well, how
Okay,
can
Exactly.
you? How
the
can you see
Bulls,
Yeah.
something like that coming?
the Bulls were not prepared. The Bulls were not prepared for it.
Right.
Okay,
Mhm.
their star guard, their everything comes in with 103-degree temperature, and the most important advice Phil Jackson got in his years of coaching the Bulls, he said, "Use me in spurts." Yeah,
Mhm.
got used him in spurts, all right. And then
Mhm.
that game-winning three happened, which sent all of Chicago into an apoplexy of joy, because we knew we had him in Game 6 because it was in the United Center. And remember,
Yeah.
at that time, folks, the finals was in a 2-3-2 format: two in
Right.
Chicago, three in Salt Lake, and two back in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
But when you Olympic athletes I've always admired Olympic athletes, because you only get to see them every 4 years,
Right.
unless
Mhm.
it's basketball, or you're really in tune with the sport or
Mhm.
competition that they're in. Secondly, when you see them, you don't know what they've been through in those 4 years. You don't know what happened, you
Right.
know. babies could be born. Mental mistakes or mental happenings could be going on. Simone Biles, thank you very much. And you don't know if a sport's been taken away or what it would do to them. Softball, hello. Right?
Yeah,
You don't know what goes through you don't know what goes through an Olympic athlete's mind when their surroundings could change so fast and they're forced to deal with it on the go. That's
exactly.
they're forced to deal with it on the go.
Exactly.
And you don't know how that's gonna play out. And I share this story. Like I said, I haven't done much play-by-play, virtual or otherwise, in the past 2.5 years because of everything that went on with my health. And I'm thinking I'm the only person that has gone through like a mental breakdown. Nope. Eric Nadal, the fabulous radio voice of the world champion Texas Rangers, took almost 3/4 of last season off to deal with his mental health.
Yeah,
And that's why he was able to push through when they won the thing.
that's right.
And I was so happy for him when it happened. Olympic competition is the most mentally challenging time.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be away from your family. You're going to be away from your support system unless they make the trip. And we know many that do make the trip. But at the same time, you got a lot of Olympic athletes that, though they have their support back home, they're going through it alone.
Yeah.
Also consideration that like normally in teams like the WNBA and stuff like that, it's usually just your city that you have on your back. In the Olympics, you have the whole country on your back.
Right.
Really worldwide. Worldwide, you got it on your back. You've got the eyes of everyone on you. And it's I mean, that kind of pressure, especially in those individualized sports, at least in team sports, you know that your teammates should have your back under all conditions. But say like swimming, like Katie Ledecky, who won the bronze in the 400-meter freestyle, she's got the world of expectations on her right now. It's very difficult. Shout out, I say, to somebody like Tori Husky, who won a nice little gold medal for us. But it's those kinds of eyes that can, the person can actually withstand that kind of pressure of those eyes on you that tend to be the most successful in those scenarios. If you can block out the noise, block out the pressure, block out all the eyes on you, and just focus on doing your best, that is, have your greatest night ever. Can I shout out the USA women's basketball team?
Please.
Please. The floor is yours, Allie. The floor is yours.
I thank you. 102-76 over Japan yesterday. It was a blowout from start to finish. Asia Wilson has a double. Let's see, 24 and 13, 24 points, 13 assists, 4 blocks. I mean, this woman can do no wrong in my book. She is just amazing. The thing is, I see no reason why the U.S. women won't get an 8th gold. I see no reason. They will get it. This was their 56th straight win yesterday, if you can believe it. 56 games. Can you imagine it?
Can you imagine everyone's ballyhooing about the Lakers streak back in 1972 of 33 in a row? You're talking about an Olympic women's basketball team. First of all, it's women's basketball, and that has my heart. Okay, Women's basketball has had my heart since 1982.
Mhm.
Second,
First year in the NCAAs. Hmm?
First-
Sorry,
played at the Scope in Norfolk, Virginia. First year
Right.
of the women's Final Four, and Frank Gleber called the late great Frank Gleber called it on CBS. I remember that.
Wow.
56 straight wins. The heck with what the Lakers, and I know what the Lakers did was within a season of an 82 game season. I get that. We're talking about 4 years here, 4 years there, 4 years here for the women, but still 56 straight wins is 56 straight wins.
It's
And
phenomenal.
Started
With the incredible amount of hype that women's sports and women's basketball in particular has gotten this year, they deserve every accolade that they've
Absolutely.
gotten. They are incredible. Now, next up is Belgium. I see no reason why they can't smoke Belgium.
they're gonna
You know?
cream Belgium. I mean,
Mhm.
They are.
when this was put together and the schedule was put together, tell me in your heart of hearts you weren't marking wins all the way down through the gold medal game in Paris.
I do.
I did.
And
I did.
And however, Brian, I am a dedicated Cubs fan and know the heartbreak of defeat after thinking, it's all said and done. It's
Right.
all going to be okay. No.
Yep.
I lived through 2003. I'm not going to. I'm assuming nothing until they actually, have those gold medals on their chest. That's just me.
Yep.
But
Understandable.
I'll tell you a funny story. You mentioned the Cubs.
Go
I'll
ahead.
tell you a funny story. I had the honor of having Tom Brenneman on my show, longtime Reds voice and longtime voice of Fox Sports, Fox Baseball.
Mhm.
And I reminded him of what he said, and I got to do this right because I remember that opening for Game 6. I was at my parents' house,
Mhm.
and my dad said, "You're not going to go out and watch this?" Nope. And he goes, "Why?" I said, "First of all, I'm a South Sider. Secondly, what if they lose tonight?" Me and my big mouth. And my dad's cracking up. And just as we turned the television on, Tom Brenneman said, quote, "Well, the stars seem to be aligned for the Chicago Cubs. They have Mark Pryor going tonight. They have Kerry Wood waiting in the wings should there be a Game 7 tomorrow. But we are talking about the Chicago Cubs." When he said that, I turned the television off and walked out laughing. My dad comes in and he says, "Why are you laughing?" I said, "Did you just hear Tom Brenneman's open?" He said,
Mhm.
"No." I found it the next day and I played it for him. And I swear my dad turned over in his pillow. He was laying in bed because he was going through cancer at the time. I swear he turned over in his pillow and tears were forming down his face. And I could hear dad laughing all the way down in the basement. And I said, "Pop," he said, "Why did you show me that?" But anybody who knows of my dad or knows my dad was a character. Okay. Then Game 7 happened, and Allie, I know you suffered through this, like a lot of Cub fans I know suffered through it. And 2 weeks prior, I was in a place in downtown Chicago when the double play happened that clinched the Central Division. I was there when they went absolutely ballistic. I saw it happen, and I go, so this is Cubdom in its finest hour. And someone walked up to me and said, "We're not done yet." I know you're not. I know you're not. But there was a little part of me, being from the South Side, I said, I better walk away now before I say something that I shouldn't say. Well, as it turned out, I didn't have to say it. Everybody else did.
That's right. Hey, I wanted to get a couple of mentions in here as
Yep.
well for today. Women's 3x3 basketball is starting tonight. Do not miss it. You've got Derica Hamby from the LA Sparks. You've got a college player in Haley Van Lith. She's from the TCU, the
TCU.
great Horned Frogs, ugliest mascot in the NCAA, to my opinion. You've got Ryan Howard of the Atlanta Dream and Sierra Burdick, who actually plays for Spain, the Valencia Basket Club there.
Wow.
And interesting fun fact about Sierra Burdick, her great-grandfather, Lloyd, played for the Chicago Bears from 1931 to 32.
Ooh.
And so she comes from a sports history. So but in the Tokyo Olympics, which is actually played 3 years ago, not 4, we had Stephanie Dolson, who was at that time a member of the Chicago Sky, on that team. And so it's exciting. It's fast paced. It's fun. So that starts tonight. Don't miss it. Another thing I wanted to mention was the U.S. women's soccer team. The U.S. women's soccer team 2-0 so far in their preliminaries. 3-0 win over Zambia. Mallory Pugh and Trinity Rodman. Names sound familiar?
Innocent's baby girl. Yeah, I know that name. That's Daddy's baby girl. You better believe it.
You betcha. And Trinity Rodman and Mallory Pugh Swanson, the wife of Dansby Swanson, but initially a great star for the Chicago Red Stars in her own right. And so 3-0 shutout Zambia, then 4-1 over Germany. And Mallory Swanson again strikes with the go-ahead goal. So, I mean, against Germany, this is a very big deal. And they, last year they really shot themselves in the foot at the FIFA at the FIFA World Cup. So I was very sad. So this is a time for vengeance. This is a time for getting sticking it to every European country.
Absolutely,
they went down in the round of 16 of all things. So
that'll change. That'll change. There'll be medals draped around them this year. We gotta
and
go.
they better be gold. They better be gold.
Nothing less. Nothing less.
The other thing I want to say, one of the reasons why they're kicking butt is because of their coach, Emma Hayes. Emma Hayes is a British export who is dynamite as a coach. She was the first coach of the Chicago Red Stars back in 2009. Good, a good friend back then. Wonderful, knows her stuff. And so the roster's younger, the roster's hungry, the roster doesn't want to be humiliated.
Right. They don't want to be humiliated again.
I'm seeing nothing but net for them. How about that?
How about nothing but gold net for them?
How about it?
How about it?
It's great.
We gotta go. Thank you, Allison, so very much, my dear, for coming on. We appreciate you. Always a wonderful conversation. The Token Female is alive, and it is well, folks. And you can catch the replay on Spotify later today. Thank you, my dear. We love you.
Thank you.
Take
Love
care.
you. Love Greg. Love Lev. And love to Victor as well. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Take
Maj.
care. Take care,
Take
my
care.
brother. Bye.
You can't do it any better than that. The Token Female will be replayed not only on YouTube, but also on Spotify. Got to get out of here. Have a great day. God bless. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, they are simply not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. We are, and we hope y'all are too. And tomorrow, I'll pay homage to women's college basketball, something I've loved since 1982. So long, everybody. No Olympic volleyball updates yet. I know you'd love to see Brazil versus Dominican Republic, but it ain't going to matter because the U.S. is going to kick both their asses. See you tomorrow.